Hey, what's up? I just wanted to pop in with some inspiration that was on my mind, and I was today I'm taking a step is that I've been wearing like a African African solidarity pendulum for a long time, and today I wasn't wearing it because I was on a is a dope pendulum, and it looks way more beautiful than it costs. I think I was like buying a book, and it was available like where I was buying a book, but it was a lot for how cool it looks. It was really like it was really very affordable, that pendulum for how cool it looks. But I was having to take a train like maybe a week or two ago, and I had a guitar with me, and then this brother was on the train, and he was like before I say this, I was saying I had a little bit of a vision before I made this video. I was laying down listening to music, and I was that's we have to count our blessings. So like I'm going through a lot, but because of how much I'm going, I had some time on my hands to like just listen to music. As much as I'm going through, I wouldn't say the word relax, but it was actually it was a little it was something of a peaceful moment, just listening to some cool music. Because it's not only the cool music, but also where you listen to music or where you play music or where you hear. The setting is really important for the musical experience. If you think about it, I think other things are contingent upon setting, like I've mentioned in other videos, but music is one of them. And I had something of a vision, which is like I said in another video that we see lightning like up in the sky, like light. So you have like all kinds of like beautiful lightning a lot of times, like in the summer. That is actually one. So like one thing about like vintage is like when you start having like taste in life, you start appreciating like things that are like a little bit like disagreeable or contrary, like even lightning. So I have a family member. We don't always get along, but one thing that's cool about him is that he enjoys lightning and like storms. And I actually had a disagreeable conversation right with him one time in the middle of a storm, and it was kind of crazy. Like to actually, so you have like an argument with someone, but then it's storming outside, and you get away and you get a breather, like to get some space before you say or do something like mean, and then it's like storming outside. So it's kind of crazy to have smoke with someone and it's storming outside, and you're close, but he appreciates like lightning storms, and I think that's cool too. But and then you have like heat lightning sometimes where there's no cloud at all. But sometimes every once in a while, I damn near think that I see like just a little streak of light, like light somewhere, like whether just every once in a while I see like damn near like I don't know if it's like static or something, but it had to be something that would flash. And I think that I was saying that sometimes in the past, like things have been experienced by people, like it's said that it's thought that when people first settled in different areas of the earth, when they met people who were traveling there or arriving there on like a foreign shore or land, people experiencing one another, the people experiencing the people landing, there's something of like the transport, the ships that they were on the horizon, on the ocean. It's thought that they weren't it wouldn't be appreciated as a boat or as a ship if you hadn't experienced that before. Now that might be actually fake news and fake history, because a lot of people say that there already been a lot of like contact between the different continents, and a lot of back and forth in ships and transportation. So if anything, they might have known what ships are like. It can be reasoned that they might have actually known what ships and boats were in what's called the world abroad that was being reached by like colonists and colonialism. Some people say that the lands they reached knew what ships are long before the colonists knew what ships were, and that's actually where they got the technology, and maybe like reverse engineered it. According to people like Tashriq Bey, he said that the Moorish people were going back and forth between the continents, and you see some of that like in the fact that there's pyramids on all the continents. So from his standpoint, that would be exactly fake news. But all I meant to say is that sometimes something can be in front of your face, and if it's not been experienced by you before, it's not in your reticular activation system. That is the subconscious cues that your mind picks up on as a feature of your past experiences and your thoughts and your values and your interests and your fears. that would be significant to your conscious awareness. Your RAS would pick that up, but in a more simple terms, that would just say that it's not part of your paradigm, is that it's not part of your lived experience and your concept of what can, had, now, or may exist. It's not within that according to your own experience or maybe your thoughts. So it can be in front of you and you wouldn't appreciate, you wouldn't conceive it because it hadn't been experienced before. Similar to like deep sea diving and you see a creature move from concealment and you had no idea there had been a creature there even though you had your eyes on it, just because you couldn't conceive something existing like that or as that until it moved in such a way that was maybe similar to something you have seen before, like a fish or some kind, and then oh, that's something, but it had actually been there, but you didn't have a reference for it. But so I think that sometimes we might actually see a degree of like a streak of like some type of static or electric charge in the faintest of ways, or like where you damn near saw something, but you can't lay a finger on it, and you might not be able to really perceive it because it's not within your concept of what can exist. But on the faintest level, you picked up something of something, and so it would not. Most people wouldn't. Most people. So most could there be lightning in your living room while you're sitting there in the living room? I've actually I think there's a family friend like that we some person that knew my family a long ways back. Lightning actually did come into the living room and actually injure a family while they're in their own home in their own living room before. So lightning can come into a living room. Heaven forbid. I hope that doesn't happen again to anyone, but that have to be extremely significant statistically for that to have happened. But according to my mother, that did happen to someone that was known, that was somehow known to some of my ancestors. They had experienced lightning in the living room. But what I want to say, it doesn't necessarily have to be lightning from the sky. Is that if lightning can exist in the sky with and without clouds, that is regular lightning and heat lightning on a grand level, could it not exist on a very faint level in your very living room, in your very home, ever so faintly? Just a little baby lightning. No, don't gotta worry about that. Just don't mind the little baby lightning. That's just a little baby lightning. It's not gonna bother nobody. I'm not saying that is the case, but I'm just saying, could that be the case? Is it possible? If it can exist in the sky, can it exist in a living room? Um, but so I was listening to music, and I damn near had a flash of insight. Like what if I had a great guitar teacher in the past, and what would he say if he talked to me? He might say, "Oh, so you got better at guitar? What about the singing? Oh, well, but I've been more playing lately. You haven't been singing? No, but well, I just need a little bit more practice. I ain't seen you in 20 years, and you ain't been practicing singing. What you been doing, man?" That's what. So anyone listening to this, if you haven't been practicing singing, what have you been doing? I'm just giving myself a hard time with that. But uh, but but I was on the bus and this brother, I had my guitar and this brother was like oh man, I need this and that. Can you play this and that? And he was ready to go right there. He's ready to jam. He's ready to rock and roll in front of everyone on the train right there. All he needed from me was he just needed just a little bit of backup, a little bit of support, a little bit of improv, a little bit of jamming. Can you play this number for me? And I didn't have it for him. So whatever somebody calls and you don't have it, that's where you need to get back to. That's where you blew your cover, and that's actually where you need to start picking up, learning if you want to be real, if you want to be Johnny Cash. I actually was playing on a sidewalk about 2 weeks ago, and this older man, like he reminded me of like something of a retired police officer, a retired firefighter, a retired school teacher, a retired mafia boss, and just a decent guy. All that in one. The attitude just very simple, and he was like attended by his family members. Like, do you play on the sidewalk? I was like, yeah, hell yeah. I sit down on the sidewalk, play piano. He said, can you play Johnny Cash? I was like, oh no, I don't know Johnny Cash. He's like, oh, you can't play Johnny Cash? I was like, no. He's like, when you learn Johnny Cash, play this song. I was like, all right, man. So that's where I need to start. That's exactly where you come up short. Is exactly where you need to start. But all I wanted to say is that brother was saying, I was asking him if he appreciated the African medallion. He's like, what's that? He's like, I'm just about love, man. He's like, it ain't gotta be more than love. But I was rocking with that, and I was thinking that's the coolest thing is that we actually don't need nothing extra, just love.